Hi everybody, I'm Dan Murphy from Blue and Gold Illustrated. Joining me is our senior editor Lou Samoji and our staff writer Andrew Owens. We just wrapped up here at Notre Dame's season opening game against Rice, a 48-17 definitive win for the Irish. Notre Dame's best offensive performance since Everett Golson's first debut at quarterback, where they scored 50 in Dublin. This time Golson makes his return, and obviously a great day for the senior, Lou.
You know, this is what you wanted to see more than anything. Everyone is talking about being that team that finally averages 30, 35 points a game like the other upper-tier college teams. These are the type of games you want to see. 295 yards passing, 281 yards rushing, rotated the backs, great balance with the receivers, the extending of plays by Golson, the passes over the middle, 3 different ones for about 30 yards, which he could never have done 2 years ago, and Brian Kelly was the first to say it. Like one play with Corey Robinson, that was his 3rd read. And again, he couldn't have done that 2 years ago, so the evolution of his game, I think, was the top story.
He checked a lot of boxes. The Notre Dame offense checked a lot of boxes itself. It's not doing a lot of things wrong. They were in great field position all day, which hasn't been something that they've been able to do in the past few years. The special teams came through, and the punt return finally arrived, Andrew.
Well, it's kind of funny. It's going to be overshadowed a bit with Golson's great performance, but Notre Dame really, for the first time in a few years, got a jolt from its punt return game with Cody Riggs back there. Brian Kelly said that later in the game when they put Greg Bryan in there is because that Cody Riggs was gassed, and they get Greg out there, and he even joked that Bryant doesn't know what a fair catch is, that one that went over his head and picks it up at the long and so on. But I think that's something positive for Notre Dame, because obviously when you can flip the field that much, it changes so much of what you can do. And that's just one of the positives that Notre Dame had.
2 years ago, Notre Dame had 46 yards in punt returns. On the first 2 by Cody Riggs, 24 and 25 yards, they had 49. They had 80 for the game, and they had 106 all of last year. So, yeah, I think that, yes.
A big step forward, definitely. Defensively, I thought Notre Dame played a pretty solid game. There was obviously some missteps, some first-game problems with Austin Collinsworth out of the lineup. He's going to be out for the next 2 to 4 weeks with a strained MCL, which he picked up in Thursday's practice. So that's going to be something they're going to have to work through with a young secondary back there. But overall, Brian Kelly talked about today being a day where he wanted that defense to just rely on its athleticism, not overthink things, not go into too deep, get caught up in their minds on things. This is a team that athletically they should be able to beat if they just kind of roll the ball out there and play, which they did. They gave up an early touchdown on a blown coverage by Elijah Shoemate, who was stepping in for Collinsworth. They gave up the field goal, but after that, Rice really didn't threaten to score until the second-team defense was in there. So pretty strong debut for Brian Van Gorder and a group that rotated a lot of young guys through the lineup.
Yeah, they did, and that's obviously something we're going to see a lot moving forward. You know, you had Drew Tranquill playing a lot more than I think any of us expected. Anthony Rabassa, he's obviously not a freshman, but he was out there for pretty much every 3rd down, so it's just going to be a lot of different guys coming in and out, and they're just going to have to mix and match it that way defensively.
And many times you saw different alignments as well. Isaac Rochelle sometimes was lined up at nose guard in passing situations with maybe Trombetti and Sheldon Day as the wide ends. So you're going to see a lot of mixing and matching, and Rice coach David Bailiff did comment about they would go from 4 to 3 fronts, and there was some confusion on their part as to how to attack it. So that was one of the main goals of Brian Van Gorder.
Solid overall performance to start the season for the Irish. Definitely some things to work on, to improve on, but a clean game, which is what you want out of your first game of the season. Only 2 penalties, no turnovers. They created 2 themselves. Notre Dame will be back here next Saturday night under the lights at 7:30 against Michigan. That'll be a big game against the rival, the last one that's in the foreseeable future between those 2 teams. Blue and Gold Illustrated will be back here as well. Until then, keep it on blueandgold.com for all your Notre Dame news.